Welcome back, everybody. We are here with T-shirt driving again. We've got the Volvo V60 Polestar behind me, and today we're going to do some track prep as we have some Racing Castrol brake fluid, the top for boiling points, both dry and wet. It's like $70 a bottle, but it's 4 liters, so it's not bad. And then we've got these really cool camber plates. These are going to be the first of their kind being installed. There's a total of 15 totally made. These are the first ones. And we're going to see how difficult it is to install this, but it should allow us to have a little bit more camber because, as you can see with my tire wear, I am absolutely running it ragged on the edge, and it needs some camber. So enjoy as we jack this up on all fours, do a brake flush, and remove these awesome Olins to see what we can do with this camber. Alright, so we've got the car all jacked up, as you can hopefully see. Hopefully the glare's not too bad. We are in a garage today. There's no shop lights, I apologize for that. But now we're going to work on the cowl and removing that, because we need to access the top of the struts as well. We have clear access underneath, as you can see from right here. Normal setup, you've got your clamp set up, one bolt there, just like the Focus RS or Focus STs. And then you've got your brake lines, ABS, and sway bar. So all this is going to get disconnected. We just have to get to the top assembly up here, which might not be too bad. There are 2 here, but we've also got to get to 1 here. So debating on if I actually want to or if this is movable. We're going to find out. This one doesn't seem terribly bad to get to. I feel like I can get to that. Whew. The size to the sway bar linkage there was a 15mm bolt and a 5mm hex. That was really tough to get out. But we got this bracket which holds your ABS line. Let me show you that. That slides right out. And then sway bar is disconnected. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then we just have 1 bolt. This so far seems very simple, very easy. Okay, so this is a 15mm bolt as well. We're going to loosen that up. I'm going to spray in some lubricant right into this crack when we thread it in backwards with a piece of metal or screwdriver in between to pry just a little bit. You'll see what I mean in camera. And that's going to give us enough wiggle room to slide this out of this clamp. So let's go ahead and do that. So now, with this bolt, we are going to thread it in on this side. But you're going to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not going to hit anything. So we're going to put a piece of metal in this crack just to slightly open it up, and that should allow us to slip this out. You could use a piece of steel or anything very solid. I'm going to use a screwdriver, because this is more do-it-yourself, and I just kind of want to show you how a screwdriver can work too. The fatter, the better. This is a Craftsman. If it breaks, I guess I could replace it for free, although Sears is all closing, so I don't know how that's going to work. But I haven't had them break yet. I do this method, so get that just like that. it's got the screwdriver. So the key here is not to open it so much where you cannot close it up. You just need a little gap, maybe a couple turns to open it. Once the screwdriver starts moving, you know the torque is there. You don't, again, want anything crazy. You just want enough of a gap. When I say lubricant, I'm using some PB Blaster. Just gonna spray in there, let it soak a little bit. See how it just went straight down? That's a good sign. That means we should be able to remove the suspension. Did you see that just slide? So now after I've done that, just literally pushing down and up will cause it to come right on out. And the closer you get, obviously the better. Again, you don't want it too super wide, so again, I just give it a little bit more spraying, let it get in there, clean up any excess spray. And as it gets closer to the bottom, it is going to get close to binding at the very edge as it like wants to turn. So it sometimes becomes super tough. So you want to see if you can get it in that one go. I'm going to get another screwdriver so when it does, I can just plop it in there. That is like it is out. I got stuck. Don't forget to unclip the ABS from the back line too. If you even want a little bit more safety, you can unclip it from there too. Just so that way you have some peace of mind. Don't forget to plug that in if you do that. Try that again. 1, 2. I can see the gap. Get the screwdriver in. Now remember, you do have a little knob in there, so you do not want to damage that. What you're trying to do right now is just get this out. So while that's like that now, I'm going to unloosen the top because that's pretty close to being done. I'm going to undo the strut bar on both sides first. The strut bar can very easily be moved. I don't want it to go anywhere, so I put the screwdriver in there. There we go. Now let's go back to the bottom. So you can see it's ready to come out. It just needs to come up and out a little bit from the back, or just slide out this way. You can hear it move, and now the top is moving because we loosened that up. So this is very, very close. You see how I use that screwdriver just to kind of grab and pry. Again, I don't want to damage the knob on it. Just want to get that out. I'm going to put the camera down and angle it, because it is going to position and fall as I just gently. Now I get the hammer and go. There we go. That's our suspension. So I put on the camber plate right now as a test fit, and it does not look like I need to drill anything. There's plenty of space with this bulge here, and the way that this setup works is this is actually going to bolt onto this assembly. So at least for right now, it looks okay. If I do need to drill to have a little bit of clearance, it looks like it's very minimal. I am going to adjust the caster so it's going to be a little bit farther back, but this looks like a very almost just plug and play setup. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my camber plate how I want it to be, guesstimating. And then I'm also going to show you how it adjusts camber, because it tightens and loosens from the bottom for camber adjustment, not the top. So you don't need to actually access it from the top, because the caster is the only thing you can adjust from the top if you see those bolts, and you don't want to do that unless it's actually completely disassembled. So from Silver Project, it does not come with bolts. I had to go to the hardware store to get these for their size, but the camber adjustment is down here. So after I figure out where it needs to be, I'm going to use some Loctite and actually tighten those, because there's only 2 adjustments for that. And that's the sliding mechanism, as you can see. This is the new bolt that is going to replace the factory one, and it does thread onto it. There's some corrosiveness, as you can see, so that all that's going to get adjusted and fixed, and you have a nice spherical bearing at the top as well. So again, I'm going to go ahead and move the caster. So there's an increased caster, so I'm going to move it up a slot. And yeah, then I will start disassembling the strut and putting this on. So now what we have to do is we have to compress this just enough where we can remove these top hats and replace the piece that's going on there. And you can see now this is full camber and full caster. This is going to be the new piece that screws on. Apparently I can't hold it with these gloves. It's got threads inside, and it's a cylinder bore right into the spherical bearing. And again, that's full caster and full camber. I don't know what that setting is on an alignment rack. We'll find out later. It also looks like it is very much accessible from underneath, but we'll see once it's all installed. Now, you get your spring compressor. Always the terrifying thing to do on cars, I feel like, for any novice. Go on this one first a little bit, tighten it up. Again, I'm doing this on carpet. I don't know if I mentioned it, because I don't want to scratch anything up on the stock suspension. There we go. It is a 6mm hex, 18mm socket. I want my sockets to be as close as possible, so it makes it easier to just pull. Now sometimes it is super hard, so you just gotta play with it, or an impact will work too. And I will try to carefully remove that. And now this piece is going to, hi spider, is going to come off of the top here. So this is where we're gonna pry that open, because we're still gonna reuse this on there. We just need this top piece that we are removing. Here's my, it's nice, they give you a little spot to hold on to, and it's held into that area, it looks like. I even heard a nice little pop, so I think it is coming out. Let me use my good hand now, which is my left hand. For those of you that don't know, I had carpal tunnel not too long ago. So if you turn it and pull, it starts to come right out. This is the piece we are replacing. You can have it so it's all corked and quanky. So you want to try and orient this where it appears to be as flat as possible, because when this one was on it, you know, you had it facing forward like this, and you're trying to get it to be as flat as humanly possible. So again, this is just with some eyeballing. Again, sorry if the lighting is horrible. No shop lights. Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company. FOMOCO. Alright, I really feel like this could fit a Focus RS now. For any of you Focus RS owners, Neil, we should try to see if my suspension fits yours. Am I going the wrong way?
You have the...
You see what I mean? Like, yep. You didn't even need the... You didn't even need this. It's already, like,
To show you how heavy your car is.
What the hell? Yeah. Is the other one like that? No, it's not. I wonder. Oh, I forgot something. Well, we can take it off without worrying about our faces getting hit.
Right.
So I actually don't think we need spring compressors on this. So don't forget this. All right. I should apologize for the glare. Let me go that way so you guys can actually see me. We are installing the struts. As you may have seen in the fast forward or time sequence, you did not need to use a spring compressor. Also, we've got Neil behind me. You guys remember Neil and his Focus RS. So he's helping out because this is definitely a two-man job for installing. I removed one side by myself. The second side he came in was a lot easier. I did decide to keep caster at 0 after finding out that underneath the access is going to be a lot easier to adjust the camber, and I could do caster later if I want to. But yeah, this is going to be the fun part, is putting it in, and I hope you enjoy our misery. There we go. Get it?
Yeah.
All of them?
Almost.
Heavy.
1 second. Flip the one closest to you, yep.
So what I'm going to do is spray the inside of that little clamping force on the axle. And then there's also a electronic device to see how much steering input. It's not on this side. It's only on the other side. Weird. Maybe that's why it was easier. Yep. So on the passenger side, we'll go over there and show you real quick. You have to take this off, this one screw, and hold the opposite end to get the clearance to remove the strut assembly. On the other side, it does not appear there is that, so it also shows why it was way easier to remove as well versus this one. And we already installed this one, so let's go back to the other side. It makes so much sense now. Okay, so now we get to start pushing and seeing if it'll go in. So we've got our screwdriver. Alright, there's that.
Now we need to pry it.
Wait, lube. Because never have too much. Actually, no, you just.
May I?
Yep. And the shoe. Ooh. Oh yeah.
Oh, it needs to go in more. The axle's what's slowing it down. Can you put the screw in for the axle? Start pulling it this way.
Well, let's see. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So if we can pull the axle, it should straighten it out. You hold. God, that stuff smells strong.
Yeah, BB blaster. Hopefully I have the back opened up enough if you want to give it another.
Give it a kick. Well, tighten that up a bit. Doesn't have to be snug, but. Line it up because I can't see from my angle.
Okay. Come on back. Right about.
There?
Yeah, I think that's the best spot you're gonna get right there. So it's almost in. Did you turn it?
Yeah, you did. Oh.
Well, bastard doesn't want to go in now.
Hang on. Now that there's tension, let me kick it. Think that'll be safe?
Probably not, but go ahead. Oh, I saw movement.
I felt movement.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, release pressure, and then we'll do it again.
Just there it is.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
All right, see you later.
Thank you so much. As you can see, it's the reverse process. You just put this in, 15 millimeters. Sway bar goes in. If you did not lose the bolt, because so many things have been happening. Get the bracket. I don't know why I'm holding the camera. It's gonna be shaky. Get the bracket, slide that in, get your bolt, put that on. Yes, I'm wearing different gloves too now. All right, let's tighten that up. We'll attach our ABS connector and tighten up the top. And finally, I can say it's done. This took way too long because of this side and getting it in. Oh my. Secure this back on. One, two, and then plug goes in. We are not gonna do the brake fluid because of how long it took, so I'm gonna tighten two up, put the strut bar in, call it a day. Hoi! Through the camera. Looks like I may have to put this one on first. There we are. And that is how you struggle and install suspension on a Volvo or camber plates. Some easy parts like not needing a spring compressor, which I discovered for us, and some difficult parts like getting the suspension piece back in the axle. So, yep. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time, guys. We'll test this out on the track.